You ever look at a DeFi dashboard and just feel completely lost? Like you're trying to read another language? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're going to walk through my actual Plazm portfolio, step by step, and I'll show you exactly how a pretty small investment grew into something, well, something much, much bigger. We're going to break down what every single number means. No buzzwords, no confusing jargon. Just a clear, straight-up look at the results.
And you know what? Let's just start with the bottom line, because that's what really matters, right? On one side, you see the initial cost, $1,250, and on the other side, the current value over $21,000. That's the journey we're about to unpack.
So, how did we get here? To understand that, we got to start with the basics. Let's look over on the left side of the dashboard at the vital signs, the system clock and the current token prices. These are kind of the foundation for everything else.
First up, you see this number, day 51. Now, this isn't just a date on the calendar. Think of it like the system's own internal clock. It's telling us we're 51 days into the current cycle, or what they call a season. It's basically a countdown timer for when the system's rules might get a little refresh. You know, the best way to visualize this is to imagine Plazm as a farm season. We're on day 51 of this particular season, there's a clock ticking, and when it hits the end, the rules for planting and harvesting get updated. It's a really simple but powerful way to think about how time works in the system.
Right below that day counter, you see the prices for Plazm and eShare. And these, well, these are absolutely crucial. They are your direct link, your exchange rate, between the tokens inside this ecosystem and real-world money. These prices are what turn all the other numbers you see on this screen into a dollar value we can all understand.
All right, now for the main event, those 6 big cards running right along the top. This is the bird's eye view of my entire Plazm strategy. We're going to start with the first 2, which are all about how the farm gets planted in the first place.
So this first card says total positions 44. What does that mean? Simple. It means I have 44 separate investments, all running at the same time right here in the Plazm ecosystem. And right now, every single one of them is active and working for me.
And this is where our little farm analogy really comes in handy. Think of each one of those 44 positions as its own separate plot of land. So right now, I have 44 different plots planted, and they're all in the growing phase. Pretty cool, huh?
Okay, now the most important word on this next card is created. It shows 311.79 Plazm. This is brand new Plazm that the system has literally generated across all my positions. This isn't what I bought. This is what the farm has grown from those first seeds I planted. Okay, so we've planted the seeds, we've seen them sprout and create new tokens. Now what? Let's move on to the next set of cards and see how this farm actually produces its value, through staking and the overall yield. This card shows nearly 119 Plazm as being staked. So all this means is that I've locked up a portion of my Plazm into special staking positions, and these tokens are doing 2 jobs at once. They're helping keep the network secure, and at the same time, they're earning me passive rewards day in and day out. So to keep our analogy going, it's kind of like I took about 119 of my seeds and locked them away in a super secure vault. And while they're in there, they're multiplying, just a little bit, every single day. I can't touch them right now, but I don't have to. They're working for me 24/7. And here it is. This is the payoff for all that activity. Yield earned, showing 6,840 Plazm. This is the total harvest so far. It's the combined output from both my create positions, the plots of land, and my stake positions, the seeds in the vault. This is the total new value my strategy has generated.
So we know how much my farm has produced, but how does that fit into the bigger picture? Let's move on and talk about total ownership and what it means to have a slice of the overall pie.
Now, this card shows my total Plazm, but the number I really want you to focus on is ownership, 0.02445%. I know, it looks like a tiny number, but trust me, it's incredibly important. It represents my exact share of the entire participating pool within the Plazm system.
Now, sometimes on these dashboards, you'll see these huge, confusing numbers for shares. Don't let it throw you off. The concept is actually super simple. Just think of shares as reward tickets. The more tickets you hold compared to everybody else, the bigger your cut of the daily rewards is going to be. That's really all there is to it.
And this analogy just makes it perfectly clear. Picture the entire Plazm engine as one giant pizza. My share simply means I own a 0.02445% slice of that whole pizza.
The big share numbers, that's just the behind-the-scenes math that calculates exactly how big my slice is compared to everyone else's. Okay, we have covered all the mechanics, all the moving parts. Now we arrive at the final card. And let's be honest, for any investor, this is the one that really truly matters, the bottom line. Let's talk cost, value, and that incredible 16x return.
It all started right here. The cost side shows the total amount of money I put in to get this all going, $1,250. That was my initial capital.
And today, the value of those exact same positions, based on those token prices we looked at earlier, is now sitting at $21,450. Yeah, that's a very significant increase from where we started.
And that brings us to the most powerful number on the screen, an ROI of over 1,600%. Just let that sink in for a second. That is a 16x return on my initial investment. Every single dollar I put in has turned into 16.
So how did this happen? It wasn't just luck. It's really the result of three core things working together. A system that's fed by real yield, which means it's making money from outside sources, a token price that has stayed pretty stable, and really smart tokenomics that are designed to push value back to the people holding on for the long term.
So, now you know the what every number on this dashboard means. And you know the why, the 16x return it's managed to generate so far. But this leaves the most important question of all unanswered: the how. How exactly did I structure those 44 plots of land? Which ones are high risk and which ones are my long-term savers? We'll break all of that down in part 2.